Okay, so at this point what I'd like to do is go into modify the layout a little bit and play a little bit with the CSS file. So the first thing we'll do just to change things up is to modify this left nav. It's really long, especially with all the data that I've got in here. So I think in my store I'm just going to show the category left-hand navigation, which is fairly typical. So I'm going to get rid of the manufacturer's nav as well as the department's nav. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the help and info box as well. So let's just take a look at that. So again, you'll want to scroll down to where you find the ID left wrap if you're in the default template. And this will be the header for the manufacturer's navigation. And then this line below here as well will actually render out the navigation itself. So we'll take out manufacturers, just delete that. I'm going to leave categories. So this is the category header, and this is the category nav on this line. And then right below here is the department's header and the department's nav. And I'm going to just keep going and take the help box out as well. So we'll save that and refresh the page. And now it's a little nicer, a little more concise navigation, just the categories as well as this more info box that we added. And I think the other thing I'm going to do is just kind of show you how you can play with the CSS to modify the layout of the website. So I'm going to take that left-hand nav bar and just move it over to the right-hand side of the template. So in order to do that, you'll want to open up style.css, and let me show you how I like to skin the site. I use Firebug in Firefox. There's very similar things in Chrome, and even IE has something similar. So you can inspect the nav, and you can see that it's left wrap that makes up that left-hand navigation bar. And then when you select left wrap, you can see the styles applied to it. So I can see that it's floating left and it's got a width on it. So I'll actually change that in my style sheet to float right. So over in style.css, I'm going to search for left wrap. Oops, where's my find box? There it is. Okay, and there it is. So I'm going to move that over to the right hand side of the page. And then I happen to know that this content div is doing something similar, but it's floating right. So I'm going to move that to the left. So that's the main content area of the page. This area I'm circling with my mouse here. And so we're just going to swap sides with our columns. So save that style sheet and refresh the page, and you can see we've moved our left nav over to the right hand side. And one other thing I'd like to cover for version 8 is the component art menu. It's to modify this menu, you've just got to modify an XML file in the skin folder. So let's take a look at that file. So the file is called menudata.xml. So we'll open that up, and it's really not too intimidating. So if you take out this item node right here, for example, you'll take out the home link. I'll show you that right here. So to modify this nav, if I took already departments and manufacturers out of my navigation below, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here to the top navigation. So in order to do that, we're going to leave categories alone. We'll leave the home link, and I'm going to take this menu.sections node out, as well as this manufacturers node. we'll just save that. And now when you refresh the page, I've got just the 3 nodes that I left in the XML. And then this customer service node, you notice categories is actually dynamic, and that's showing all my categories that I've got entered. And I don't get a lot of control over that in the XML file because it's coming right out of the database. So you can see here, this node, all the control you have over it is what text is written on the node itself. And that's pulling from a string resource. But the customer service node, we can actually get a hold of and modify the children of this node. So all the drop-down items are what I've got selected right here. So for example, if you didn't want to have order history in your drop-down, you can just remove that node there. And I'm going to leave the rest of these. And all of these are string resources here, but just to show you kind of how simple they are, if you wanted to, rather than this your account string resource, you might change it to my account, for example. And you can just type plain text into that text attribute. So let's take a look at that. So now under customer service, I've got my account rather than your account, and you can see that node I removed is also gone. So that's the basics of modifying that component art menu.